National Fishermen and Pacific Marine Expo are proud supporters of the Galley Stories podcast, as we make similar efforts to highlight the people and topics that define commercial fishing. You can see what that looks like in print and online all year long, as well as every November in Seattle when this community comes together at PME. Check out nationalfisherman.com and pacificmarineexpo.com to learn more.
Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Alaska Brewing Company out of Juneau, Alaska. Go check out their new Wild Ness beer. Launched on March 1st, any place that you got a good retailer near you or your favorite watering hole. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Galley Stories, stories of the Bering Sea and beyond, hosted by Mark Kaler. My name is Penka Jane, podcast deckhand and longtime listener. We'd thank you to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Here's today's catch.
Hello guys, welcome back to another installment of Galley Stories, stories of the Bering Sea and beyond. I am your host, Mark Kaler. Today we've got deckhand Zane Behrend with us. How you doing, Zane?
Good, how are you, sir?
Good. So let's just jump right into it. Where were you born and what got you into commercial fishing?
I was born in Madras, Oregon. It's a little cow town in basically dead center of Oregon. What got me into fishing, I always wanted to do it. I was living in Las Vegas in 2012-13 and had a bad breakup, got ran out of town, and needed a different job where I could work hard and kind of reinvent myself. So had a friend of a friend. He called and asked if I wanted to go up to Alaska and go fishing, and I got a job in King Cove on the Red Hunter. And that was my first fishing boat experience. Lasted about 3 weeks. Guy had a Goldstone, and then I got picked up by another guy, and just started making a good name for myself. Had to just reinvent myself. Because I was kind of a scoundrel before. Didn't really have any work ethic, and then something that just clicked for me. I was willing to get my hands dirty, willing to work hard, willing to put my head down and work hard, and that's how it all started for me. That was 8 years ago this summer.
What was the species?
That was sockeye as well.
Okay.
So I fished. That was like near False Pass, Area M, actually.
Steining or
gill netting? Gill netting. Yep. Gill netting, and then basically like you meet every other captain in this industry. You meet them at a bar. So I met my next captain. He was the owner of a seiner, fishing vessel Alert, and that was a seiner in Southeast. And then he got me on a pot cod boat in the wintertime.
You're going too fast.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah. Nope.
Let's slow it down and talk about the experience.
Okay.
So you first get to Alaska. You've never been before.
Never been before.
Let's talk about that experience.
Okay.
And the introduction to the boat and
Okay.
what your duties were.
Okay. You get up to Alaska and you don't know anything, you don't know anybody. It's just you might as well be on a different planet. When you get there from Las Vegas. No cell phone service, and I was clean cut and nice pants and nice shoes and stuff. I get there in the boat, it's a shithole. It stunk. It was not in good. He didn't winterize it well. So me and the other deckhand, Brad, I don't remember his last name, but it doesn't matter. But him and I, we worked real well together, and I just kind of had to learn what it was like to work in tight quarters with somebody and. Just kind of soak up as much knowledge as I could from the captain. That experience was interesting. We ran the boat aground a couple times. The way I got the job was, so my dad, he details boats for a living, fiberglass boats out in Florida. So I've seen him work a couple fiberglass, installments here and there. So I told the captain that I could do fiberglass. I got hired with the expectation I knew how to do fiberglass. So we're on the net. We're sleeping on the net overnight one time. It's on our back cleat, and we're taking a nap on it. And the captain runs the boat into Deer Island, which is an island right in the middle of King Cove area, and big hole in the middle of the fiberglass boat. And we were taking on water, fished for the next day until it closed. Got back and I had to make believe I knew how to do fiberglass, and so we got it out, dried it out, and I faked it and I made it. It was just one of those things. I couldn't believe I did it. I pulled it off. Never, the boat was dry as a bone, and I fixed the problem. I can't believe I fixed it, but I tell my dad that all the time. But that was how I got my first fishing job. You know, I guess you have to have something. You know, I read online actually you had to have some sort of, you know, some sort of skill, which I didn't have. You know, I was a personal trainer before going there, so yeah, that was my blue collar skill that I had, and I brought it and I made it happen. So that was my first summer fishing. He got sick with a gallstone, and then I got picked up by the town welder. Warren Wilson was his name, and he came. He saw me. I was looking at the sound one day, and I hear a knock on the window of the truck, and he's like, "Hey, I need a deckhand," and he's like, "I'll give you 20% off the top." And he took me fishing. I went fishing with him for like 14 days, I think it was. Went home, made our money, and I was hooked. You know, I just
Salmon still.
Yep, salmon still in Area M. That was like Falls Pass, Port Moller. Actually, we went up to Port Moller. Yeah, that was my whole first summer. You know, and then I was just hooked to just being on the water, which I'm terrified of to this day still of the water. The Titanic really fucked me up.
For me, it was Jaws.
Jaws, yeah. Something about just the water and the abyss and the unknown. It just scares the shit out of me, and it still does. You know, I'll get spooked on the back deck sometimes with my back to the rail and stuff, and when it's dark and calm, I'll scare myself. You know, just with the thoughts of what could happen, what's down there. It scares the shit out of me. So
anybody that's ever fished in the ocean, it's a lot different than a lake.
Yes.
Because you think you got one species on, but you really don't know till it comes to the surface.
Yes. Yeah.
There's some weird shit down there.
There's some weird shit down there, man. Yeah. No.
And it's gonna get you.
Yeah. Yeah. It will get you. You know, it's. Yeah, even like crabbing and stuff. Just the stuff you get. You know, I have a deeper respect for like sea life now than I ever did before. I have a big thing for like octopus now. That was like I had a big. Can I jump to that experience I had
Sure.
there? Yeah, I was on I was coast crabbing off the coast of Washington, Dungeness crab with the 135-pound pots. You know, 14 inches by I think it's like 4 feet or something like that, and we pull up this octopus and. We're 5 strong in the back deck, big strong dudes, you know, or whatever, strong dudes, and this octopus gets poured out of the pot, and it goes onto the dump box, and it takes 3 grown men to get this octopus overpower this octopus and take it out and put it on the deck, and this octopus had this huge scar from the top part of his face down to its like where his cheek would be, you know, and its eyes were real. The eyes were real, just aware, made eye contact with you, and just was looking around. So we put it on the deck, and it crawled right for the scupper and went right out onto the ocean, right back home. And the thing, it's like, what if we were abducted by aliens and let go on the mothership? You're not going to be able to get out of there. You know what I mean? Or go to the San Diego Zoo and it's all in Chinese or something. You're not going to be able to make it out of there. So the way that its intelligence that it had kind of really just it fascinated me. You know, and I have a deep respect for sea life. You know, I don't want to kill anything in vain.
Do you eat squid?
No, nope, I will not. I had it one time.
Because that eye contact.
The eye contact, yeah. It knows me and I know it. You know, it was weird. I had octopus one time in King Cove. It was an octopus burger, and I thought it was halibut, and it was probably one of the best pieces of food I've eaten. You know, but yeah, I won't do it anymore. But yeah, sea life is really it's something. You know, I think everybody needs to have a chance to get out there because you learn a lot about yourself just on the ocean. You know, like what you're made of and being comfortable. Being uncomfortable, you know, really, and I think that's my main mission right now in my life is being comfortable, being uncomfortable, you know.
Being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, if you're scared of the water,
yeah,
what you're doing right now is you're going out gill netting now currently.
Yes, sir.
Bristol Bay.
Yep.
That's a small boat.
Small boat. Yeah, 32 feet, fiberglass, old Russian boat. I think it was 89. I think it was made. Great boat, but. Yeah, I mean, I'm in a small. I'm out of my element. You know, I live in Las Vegas right now, and it's a nice big apartment. You know, nice hot weather. You know, wife, kid around me all the time, and not anymore. I'm around 3 other stinky guys, and we all got to fight over the nicest coffee cup. So.
Right. So after salmon, what was obviously you fished other species. How did that progress?
So I met a guy in King Cove at the bar. He was a tenderman. he got me on that next winter. So it was the day after Christmas. We left from Seattle up to Sandpoint, Alaska. It was a 10-day trip on the boat, going out there.
What boat was it?
Cape Denby. Took all his pots. Met a great captain. Chad Parker's his name. Great guy. He's got a lot of experience. So yeah, we went out there. I was just a tenderman, and that was probably the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. Maybe not the biggest, but $135 a day, standing in 5-degree, weather, and just freezing my hands and my nuts and my toes, everything off. I was cold, miserable. We were delivering to we were taking fish from this other boat, and this guy named Jim Brunsman, he owned a seiner, and he was on the I can't remember the name of the boat. Equinox. He was on the Equinox, and offered me a job to go there on pot fishing, and that was again one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made, because you're out there and you don't come in at all. You're out there for I think it was 3 weeks, just freezing and catching fish. We did pretty good, and he owned a seiner, and he'd go sailing in Southeast, so he invited me to go up to sunny Southeast, he called it. And it was not sunny, but it was a great time. I made about $7,000 in 4 months, but I got to learn. I was a skiff man, so I drove the smaller boat from the bigger boat that tows the net around, and I learned. I was always real good with mechanical skills, small engines and stuff like that. So that was kind of my time to shine, and understanding how the boat works, and I got a lot of a good experience there, and really got to show off my work ethic. And then from there, I met this guy, Jeff Grin. He owned another seiner. What happened was we caught the net in the propeller of the main boat, and they sent me down under in scuba gear and had to go cut the net out of the prop. Not once, but three times.
Now, did you tell them that you were a scuba diver too?
I did not. No. I was just the guy for the job. I was the guy who fit in the wetsuit.
Okay.
But I had to. That was a big thing for me, like facing fear, because, like I said, I'm terrified of the water, of under the water, I guess, and so I just had to really, I was under there for like a half hour trying to get this net, out from under the prop.
You had a
tank, everything, full gear, yeah, and I came up, lips were purple, I was scared. I just had to maintain eye contact with that little nut in the back of the prop just to make sure I wasn't, veering off and seeing shit that wasn't there, it was just, I was scared. Got it done, and and then the other captain, he's like, this guy has some grit, so he offered me a job to go coast crabbing with him, and coast crabbing, that was kind of my bread and butter. I was real good at that.
Let's talk about what's coast crabbing.
Coast crabbing, so you're off the coast of Washington or Oregon, and you're fishing for Dungeness crab, but it's smaller, so there's 500 or 600 pots. We had a 500 pot permit, and they're 135 pounds a piece. And it's all manual. You don't have you have the power block, but you don't have a big crane moving them. You're moving them by hand. And I'm kind of a hands-on guy like that. So it was perfect for me. Just put on the sludge metal and get to work. It's a real rinse and repeat thing. It's long. I was actually my first season. I was the bait guy, the masturbator, and I was in tears because I was so seasick, and I didn't eat for like a week because I was so seasick. I was cold, miserable, just sweating. I wanted to go home, but like I said, that was the being comfortable, being uncomfortable, and that's something I learned about myself. I could just put myself through a lot of garbage and come outside, come out the other side smiling. And then
what's really weird is after those moments, after those seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think, I'll never do this shit again.
Mm-hmm.
And then about a month later, you're like, that wasn't so bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is why I have to buy brand new gear every year. I throw it away. I'm done. Tell my wife I'm done. It's just, but something about it. I just, I feel like I belong out here. And I feel like if you have that knack and you get along with the guys and you know how to work hard and you don't complain. You're kind of stoic about it because everybody is witnessing and experiencing the same shit that you're going through. Same cold weather, same uncomfortable. Same belly ache, same hands hurting, it's all the same. But I think if you don't talk about it and you just go through it and you're there in the trenches with your brothers or the sisters you're on deck with, that's the key to the success in this industry, is just making it happen, just being on that battlefield and just making it happen. nobody talks about how they miss home or anything like that. It's just, you just do it, and I think if people could do that, then they have a lot going for them, just putting your sorrows and your little whimpers away. It's like it sucks. Of course it sucks, but it's also one of the best things that you could ever do in your life. I think the amount of fulfillment you feel, like I feel the most accomplished when I come back from a big fishing season. That's I don't know. I feel good about it. And it's just something. It's just another thing I could write down and talk about when I get home to my friends and family, and something they could be proud of. Because I'm not robbing. I'm not stealing. I'm working for my money. And that's a big thing I hang my hat on, because that's easy to do. I'm not saying I'm a scoundrel. I would go do that. But I'm willing to work hard and and do this to support my family.
Speaking of not talking about it, there's a lot of things that happen on the water that you don't talk about.
Right.
What would be your scariest experience on the water?
Scariest experience on the water. So I was out that winter when we lost the fishing vessel Destination, and we had just taken fish from them, and they sunk there was no mayday. The boat just sank. And we were building ice, and we were caught in a ditch. And a ditch is basically like you're running parallel with the waves, or with the swells. So your boat's just rocking and rolling, side to side. And I honest to God, I grabbed onto the rail when we were listing to one side way heavily, and I just kneeled down, and I was like, we're gonna tip, right? Like, I felt it in my heart that I was going to sink and I was going to die right then in that moment. And I didn't. We came back and it was sunny, and at 7 o'clock in the morning we got there. And that was it's just a time, that was the time I just I guess gave up. The fear, the hair in the back of my neck stood up. I was just scared, for my life. And, I just thought about, if it happened to those guys were the elite of the elite, and it happened to them, it could happen to us, and it will happen to us, and I thought right there that was my time. And then being, of course, under the boat, 3 times, getting the net. The last time I got the web out of the propeller was in this place. It was called Seal Bay, and a bunch of seals there, and the water was murky brown, and there was web everywhere, and I just kept on getting my feet kept on getting caught in the web, and I just kept on, I could feel it kind of dragging my leg down. I let my imagination get the best of me there. So I was pretty terrified there. Had a fire on the boat last year. That was another thing. I take fire very serious. My profession back home, and our boat caught fire, and it was a big blazer for a second, and we caught it in time, but
which boat?
That was the fishing vessel Dixie Normus. And one of the stanchions on the way down, somebody, I don't know who, I don't know what, somebody put their rain gear right next to the generator exhaust, and it caught fire and it went right up. And one of my crewmates, Big Red we call him, he ran in there with the fire extinguisher. I ran with the fire extinguisher, and we caught it in time, but it was it ruined all of our electrical stuff, all over our electrical. So we had to rewire it while we were fishing. That guy didn't take a day off. That was.
He's a fisherman.
He's a fisherman. Yeah. Clayton Franklin is a fisherman. Yeah, he goes to catch. He catches fish. Stuff you don't think about. Just you don't think about these things happening. And they happen, and it's like, what the hell? And then it's terrifying, because this stuff, boat fire is one of the worst things that could ever happen. You know what I mean? Nowhere to go. Except for that dark water. Yeah, exactly. In the middle of the night or whatever, And but those unexpected things like that, or things where you get in your head and you start kind of coaching yourself through something, or you make these scenarios. It's a big mental game, Unless of course you're bleeding out, your hand got caught in something or something like that. But that happens to everybody. You're not a fisherman until it does. So,
what about your best time at sea?
Best time, man. One of my most memorable times at sea. We were I this wasn't in Bristol Bay. I was on the coast of Washington. We're hauling pots, and we were right. There was a couple fighter jets flying by, and they were practicing their flight lines, or their fire lines on us. It was wicked. Like, it was the most patriotic thing. Like, our American flag was blowing in the wind. We were blasting music. We were working hard. We were catching crab, and this loud jet comes by and just like right over our heads, and it comes back again, does it, and then does another flight line, and then does a barrel roll, like, just kind of waves. It was the most patriotic thing I think of. Yeah, I wanted to cry just because I'm a patriotic individual, and the sound it made, and just like, man, like, this is what I'm doing right here, right now. I've never felt more present, and I've never felt more proud to be, just to be doing what I'm doing. He respected us, and we respected him. It was kind of one of those things. It wasn't anything bad. It was just this great experience. I couldn't believe it.
Awesome.
And then, of course, catching that 8,000 pound set, on the river, that's always awesome too. But I've had a lot of good times at sea. The people that you meet, I think that's one of the better times too. Like, I keep in touch with the radio group, throughout the year, and we're all just good friends. You're not going to meet anybody, any people like this, out here, and they get you, because they all go through that suck with you, and they all know how it is, and they all know how you operate, because you were your most true self after about the first week on the water with those guys. It's like there's no secrets. You talk about anything, they know you, and you know them, and then you can carry that on outside of the season. That's really special too.
Let's talk about going to the bathroom on these small boats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just to bring that up.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting to know everybody.
Yeah, getting to know everybody. So I'm not very bashful. I'll go poop anywhere. We have a 5-gallon bucket. Some people go down to the engine room and go poop, but I'm not about that. I just when you gotta go, and I just go on deck. I hide behind the drum, away from most wind. Of course I have the mosquito net over my face. They'll eat you alive. But you fill it up with about 6 inches of water, do your business, and throw it overboard, and then fill it back up and rinse it out again, and that's really it. And hopefully you put the bucket in the right spot, and it's not the one the grappling hook goes into. Last year I had to go. We ran aground. The boat I was on, he draws about 18 inches of water, and he was trying to take a shortcut, go over this bar, and me and the deckhand in the back were looking at the wash from the jet, and it starts turning darker and darker and darker, so it's almost black. And so we kind of look at each other and wince, and we're like, oh shit, like, we get down and kind of just brace for impact, and boom, right when we think we ran aground, the drum went forward, it crushed all the fish, it tore the galley up. But I had to go to the bathroom real bad. So, and we were dry. There was 2 inches of water, dry. So I ran to the side where I could get as much water as I could on the where I could find water on the river. I went to the bathroom, and then I threw it out, and I didn't even make it into the water. It like landed right on the sand. So I had to just look at my shit for another 2 hours. And we all had to look at my shit for 2 hours, But that's just what happens, and everybody understands, It's just one of those things.
What is your time at sea taken away from you?
Oh man, my sanity probably. No, what is taken away from me the most, I think, like, now that I have a son, I've missed out on a couple of years of his, or a couple months of his life, which isn't that big if you think about it, and especially if you're not a parent, or if you just say it out loud. I'm saying that out loud, and I'm like, it's a couple of months, like, what the hell, but I feel like my relationships with the people at home have suffered for it, because I used to be gone 10 months out of the year fishing, and they're like, oh, when are you home? And I'm not that good at keeping tabs on anybody, or them keeping tabs on me. I'll call you when I call you. So I think it's taken away my personal relationships with people that don't understand what I'm doing out here. For my friends in the fire department, or friends who have regular jobs, real jobs, whatever. Not that fishing's not a real job, but to them, you know what I mean? They think I'm on vacation right now, which I'm on a paid guys trip right now, essentially. Yeah, I think my personal relationships have suffered from it.
What has it given to you? What has the sea given to you?
Man, it's taught me work ethic, and it's taught me grit that I didn't even know I had. Everybody thinks they have it, and you don't know until you do, until you're there, and yeah, it's given me the grit and just the appreciation of being. I can be more present than when I'm in Las Vegas. I'm thinking about the future, thinking about my past fuck ups, whatever. But when I'm on the ocean, I'm right there right now, and that's really hard to come by, even if you try to do it. I think, but it just comes. That's just how it is for me when I'm there, and that's a really good thing. That's something that I need personally, is to be present, because I got a million things in my head going around, past, present, whatever, future, and I think it just allows me to bring myself back and just be who I am and take care of the task at hand, or enjoy playing cards with the boys or something like that. I could just be in my circle right there, and that's important to me, and
what advice would you give for folks thinking about getting into the industry?
I say just do it. Like I said, I'm still scared of the sea. I think if you just go out and do it and fake it till you make it, and you're gonna find out whether you have it or you don't have it.
So is your suggestion then is to tell them that they can fiberglass?
You're not a fiberglass guy. Nobody's as good as a fiberglass guy as I am. No, just make your mind up. I have a friend at work, one of my partners. He wants to come up here real bad, but he just talks about it, and I think I like to execute. The more I talk about stuff, the easier it is for me to talk myself out of stuff, and I don't have time for that in my life. I'm 33, and I have a lot of years ahead of me, I hope. Yeah, knock on wood. But you just have to go execute. Find a guy who knows a guy, and just get on the boat and just do it, because chances are you're gonna love it. Maybe not at the time. You're gonna be be cursing me. You know what I mean?
Get into the suck.
Yeah, you're gonna get in the suck. But you're gonna think you can't write that, and there's nothing like that experience that you have.
Wow, Zane. All right, awesome. Do you have any final thoughts for us?
Final thoughts. I think a thing what I've said this a couple times throughout this session here is work on being comfortable being uncomfortable, or being comfortable being uncomfortable. And you could take that however way you want. It could be physical, it could be mentally, it could be emotional. I think people need to work on that and realize that, and I hope my family realizes that I am that way, and that I'm the guy who takes chances, and I'm the guy who I'm the guy who's gonna be there to back my guy up, and my friends up. I'm gonna be there for the cause and for the bigger picture. And I think a lot of people should exercise that as well. I'm not saying I'm the man or anything, but I think the more you put yourself in other people's shoes and how they're gonna benefit from you helping them, I think that's something that you could carry with you every day. But I think it's paramount to being successful out here on the water. I think about my family all the time, and I want to see them, I want to be back to them, but there's also people here counting on me to do what I need to do and be successful, and if we all have that same mentality, I think we'll all get along great.
Awesome. Well, I know you're getting ready to get on a boat and head out to meet up with your boat.
Yes, sir.
And start your 2024 Bristol Bay.
Sir, can't wait.
Sockeye season. So I wish you the best at it, and good luck in the suck.
Appreciate you, Mark. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Galley Stories. We hope you like what the net brought in. Please leave us a review on iTunes. Whether you like it or not, we're not fishing for compliments. Look us up on Facebook and Twitter too, and reach out to us at galleystories@gmail.com.